It's 10 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll ask the provision of disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Does anyone have a conflict? Seeing none. You have the minutes of the February 4th, 2025 meeting of the Middlesex Accessibility Advisory Committee. Are there any omissions or errors in those? Seeing none, could I have a motion to adopt those? Jerica, thank you. Second by Leslie, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. So moved. I don't see Jeff Little. Okay, Jeff just joined. Okay, so we'll go to him first then. The Elizabeth Street Sidewalk Review, Township of Lucan. But Jeff Little, the Director of Public Works at the Municipality of Lucan Godolph, will be presenting this for us as soon as he gets online here.
Yeah, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, Ken, Jeff, go ahead.
Right on. Well, thank you for having me. I did want to say to Rebecca that I did want to come and experience one of the meetings and making sure I kind of understood the process and I appreciate the opportunity to do this. With the Elizabeth Street and Phillip Street, there was a chunk of sidewalk that we had to add. And we had to blend in an older subdivision. Phillip Street and Elizabeth Street have been there for quite a while, with a newer development on the end of Elizabeth Street. And the elevations on in this portion were the challenging item on here. So Dylan, who was the Dylan Consulting, were the engineering group that did the design, and the criteria was obviously accessibility and the City of London standards that they have in their design guidelines. So the original look of the sidewalk is to come out at the corner, but we know that the steepness of it to get back into the new development was beyond what I was comfortable with. So what Dylan came up with was a sidewalk that comes down towards Phillip Street, turns, and then goes down Phillip Street a small amount to make up the elevations. Then it turns and then crosses the street at Phillip Street as a regular crosswalk. The diagram that you see there is the basic diagram. I have asked the contractors to make sure that they don't have the square edges or the 90-degree edges that you see there. I've requested that there be radius installed there, just for ease of turning the corner rather than a square one, both for people using it and for the sidewalk snow removal machine. So that's basically the project. I'll leave it up. Again, this is my first, being here with everybody. So I'll turn it back over to the committee.
Thank you, Jeff. Any committee members have any questions they'd have for Jeff on this one? Seeing none at this time. Go ahead.
I wondered if there's handrails. Like, is it that steep a grade?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the original steepness that we were looking at, that like it was going to be something that was going to be beyond what we normally have out in our just our normal sidewalk. In this case, our slopes are meeting the requirements of the accessibility, so that we don't have to have any special measures in place.
Thanks.
Okay, any follow-up? Michelle, do you have any follow-up there? No? Jerica, go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Jeff. I'm just wondering, with the new subdivision going in, is this going to be a major pedestrian route, or I'm just thinking maybe if you're going in to do, like, I have no comments on the new sidewalk, but maybe to have high contrast strips put over the cross section that they travel over the road would be good. But other than that, everything looks good to me.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe that. And obviously, I didn't talk about the road itself, but we're looking at some additional items. One, the intersection to be painted, to have some line markings that indicate a crossing, a more thorough crossing there, because although it is a back street, and it certainly is not the amount of pedestrians that I would consider like a main street of Lucan, I still think that this will be a major, it takes everybody to the park. So I think it deserves line painting and the intersection to be painted out properly. I would, and again, this is a little bit beyond the sidewalk. We are looking at making this a three-way stop to slow traffic down and to just because it's near the park and we want to control the traffic in this area. So there is some other things that we're looking at. But definitely line painting will be actually introduced here as well. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no further questions, could I have someone move the recommendation? Jerica, seconded by Michelle. Any further questions? All in favor? So done. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate your attendance this morning, and good luck with your project.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And yeah, it's nice. It's one of our. It's interesting as as Public Works goes along. It's Lucan in particular, and I think all small towns. It's very important for the sidewalks. It's become probably the biggest thing I've seen changed over the last 20 years. And probably the most comments I get from the general public on good and bad on the condition of the sidewalks and the walkability of a community. So thanks, guys. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you. We'll move on to the accessibility projects in the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc, and I'm not sure if Darren or Rob is going to speak to these, but either one of you can go ahead.
I'm gonna let Darren do the work, and I'll just step in if he needs me.
Thank you. Go ahead, Darren. Can you hear us all right, Darren?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Good
Go
stuff.
ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us today. Yeah, we've got a multitude of projects on the go or on the docket in Strathroy-Caradoc that relate to accessibility. So we've submitted a few of these projects. Again, more to come, I'm sure. So if we'll start with the Arda Faulkner Memorial Community Garden. So this project was kind of brought to light about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Majority of initial funding came through our local Rotary Club. The site was changed to a different location to expand into what you see here today. It's quite an extensive, impressive community garden. The Faulkner family jumped on board for a major contribution to this project, and as you can see, encapsulates a lot of different amenities in the project. There's fruit trees, there's a multitude of accessible garden boxes, accessible pathways, park benches that have been installed. So it's a great project for the community. Anybody, any questions on this one?
The sidewalks where the planters are they wider so that they're still accessible by wheelchair?
That's correct. So there's the walking pathways that runs between Spence and Park Street. They are 6 feet wide. There will be a sidewalk connection from the existing sidewalk on Park Street, as noted in the drawing, that connects into the walkway that surrounds. So it will be directly connected into that municipal sidewalk system.
Jerica, go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, we got a little bit of feedback, but yeah, thank you. I am super excited about this project because community gardens are a pet interest of mine. I had a few questions, if you don't mind, about the circulation through the site. And also, could you clarify, so is this under construction? Is it built and you're changing some of the beds to be accessible? I'm just wondering, I'm not familiar with this site, so
So
what
this,
stage are you in?
yeah, so this is a brand new site that we've just developed. So we actually had a grand opening last week on this project. So majority of the garden boxes are in. I believe the first plantings are going to be happening this week. So, which is pretty exciting. And so if you look the row to the north, so like the outer perimeter of the garden boxes, those are the accessible spaces. So we've altered the site plan slightly from what this plan is, just based on, you know, a little bit better flow throughout. So yeah, so there's good flow all the way around. There's ample spacing for accessibility there.
How does on the site plan they have sand, topsoil, and compost, but right by the main entrance. So how do people actually get into the garden?
So those boxes actually aren't in the same place that they are right now, just based on where we end up with the proximity of everything. There's an accessible access point almost directly in front of the accessible parking space. So basically, that would be the entry point. That's where the signage is for the garden boxes, and that is the entry for that space. So we've actually fenced the entire project basically around. The fruit trees have actually been moved. We don't have an updated drawing on this yet, but the fruit trees have been moved further down, and we installed 10 ground plots as well. So if anybody wants to come out for a tour, I'd be more than happy to meet them on site.
My main comment was going to be to like if there is any possible way that you could have an entrance in the back near the accessible parking space, but if you guys have already done that, that was just my first thought, that it seemed very far on this plan to go from the accessible parking space all the way down to the limestone screenings trail, where you kind of had like a direct route back there. So I'm very glad that kind of. And when you move the fruit trees out, like, is there still room for expansion of the garden in the future if more funding was obtained and you wanted to put like another portion in?
Yeah, there certainly is. There's actually room for more plots on the south side of the walking pathway, so we can expand onto both sides. So we didn't really restrict ourselves completely on the property, but yeah, certainly room for expansion.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thanks.
Okay.
If I may, the second attachment you have in your package is the design of the accessible garden box that was created by the high school. I wouldn't mind comments with regards to that. If you think if there's some changes that we can make to future boxes that may be a little bit easier to navigate or not. There's lots of space between the boxes to turn the wheelchairs around. It's the wheeling up to the box in a wheelchair that may be the challenge. So
go ahead, Jerica.
Yep. When it comes to the boxes, I'm not a wheelchair user. I know I've seen these boxes used in other community garden spaces, and the only comment I would have is, I mean, bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and especially if the garden is going to cater to children's programming or stuff like that, you just might consider varying the height on it so that you can have someone who's a little shorter still access the box, and you can have people who are taller that aren't hunching over. So it kind of looks a little different when they're on site because they don't. We sometimes want things to all match, but actually varying the heights of the garden planters can be very beneficial and an accessibility feature.
Yeah, and that's a great point because we can actually, if you were to come out and take a look, you can't see it on the site drawing. We have different levels of garden boxes, so we could always include those into that design. So that's a great comment. Thank you.
I like that you have the that area, because around that area there is a numerous supported living housing and geared to income housing. So I think that's really going to be a beneficial project that they put in there. I know I have a family member close by, and they love gardening, but they have to use a wheelchair for mobility. So very excited, and they were there last for the opening. So I haven't made it there yet, but it sounds like you're doing a really great job.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Erica, you have another question?
Yeah, again, sorry, pet interest. How do folks obtain their water, like to access the water for the site? Because sometimes that's a detail that gets left behind, but if that isn't accessible, it can sometimes be challenging for people who want to independently garden without, say, someone coming in to help them. But
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're going to have a water tank on site, so we're going to do weekly deliveries or as needed deliveries of fresh water to that tank. There's some provisions around community gardens and water that we just have to work through. So anyway, it's certainly going to be they're going to have water accessible.
And when you're designing that the water filling station, thinking about the handles, like how just because people with different hand strength, like a lever can sometimes be better than those smaller like twist sizes. So little details like that can really make a big difference for a lot of our community members.
Appreciate that input. Thank you.
Any further questions on this project? Okay, seeing none, we'll have a motion at the end of all these projects, but if we want to go to 4B2, Darren, go ahead.
All right, Jay's Care Foundation project. So this project started about a year and a half ago, I believe, Rob. We applied for a grant from the Jay's Care Foundation, submitted, virtually based on accessibility was one of the key factors for this project. So moving into it, it's nearing completion right now. Actually, these accessible bleachers were delivered and being installed today. So I was just on site before this meeting. So it's fantastic to see another piece of the puzzle coming together. But all of our pathways now at this site connect together for accessibility throughout the entire location. Again, the accessible seating component that was assigned to this project just another perfect example of how we were moving forward with accessibility projects.
Questions
So for the
on
members,
this?
just to orientate you a little bit, the blue hashed lines, those are asphalt pathways. And then the large section that's behind the ball diamond there is an asphalt pad, which the bleachers will be installed on. So they're able to access the park and the ball diamond from both parking lots on the property and make their way to this area.
Anyone have any questions for either Rob or Darren on that one? Okay, looks good. We'll move on to the next one. The Woods Edge Park in Mount Regis. Go ahead, gentlemen.
And I do have to apologize on this project. We just had a a new update after I'd sent this out to be shared out to this group today. So on the first drawing, basically it shows the accessible component with the concrete walkway being connected into the. Thank you for sharing this. So so in front of you right now on the screen is our new update. We designed this. It's been a few years now. This started in 2022. Was budgeted for. Property was not assumed yet. So we did a public consultation in November. The public had a few changes they wanted to make. We went back out to our vendor and had some alterations made. Brought it back to the community again last month, maybe 2 months ago now, and had some further alterations made, which I just received this week, which is what you see in front of you right now. So if you want to scroll down the page. So this shows kind of an overview of some of the amenities, that are in this site. Again, accessibility into the site with the EWF, at grade concrete, park benches, accessible amenities, accessible swings. So it's kind of a neat piece. We didn't have a lot of room to do something too expansive on this project. So if you want to scroll down just a little further, and, one more. So again, set up for different age categories. This is a 2 to 12 site basically. So a little bit of something for everyone. Scroll down one more. One more. So overview, if you look at the attachments that were in eScribe, you'll see that there was kind of a triangle in the center of where these seated areas are. We've removed that and put in some just basically seating for parents. There's also a accessible picnic table going into that site as well. Retaining wall along the back of the property to separate the play area from the stormwater management pond. So there's a little bit of a safety aspect here as well. So any questions on the layout?
Yeah, go ahead, Jerica. Jerica?
Yep. Thank you. So on this diagram, is that a hedge? So behind the seats that are to the north of the, well, maybe not north, but to the top of the page, are those, what size are those hedges and trees? Like, are they going to get large enough to provide shade for those people sitting there? Or?
The trees would, the shrubs I would expect should be kept at a low level so people can't hide behind them. It's just more of an aesthetic, kind of an aesthetic piece there. So.
Yeah, that would be my only comment around like some of that seating area to the right hand of the page, and that I really like how there's trees, and especially in the diagram, like I think it was a couple pages up, it's clear the trees will provide shade later on the day, but like just for caregivers and people resting, especially with how hot our summers are getting, if there's like shade structures that can be incorporated, or if there just can be creative landscaping so that there is just a little more trees in the later half of the day when it's hot, I think that would be beneficial. But
yes, yeah, we can certainly look into a shade structure of some sort, whether it's a sun sail or maybe some kind of a pergola. This project is capped on budget, so we might look to something in the future for some additional amenity there. But
so if I may, part of the problem, you don't see a lot of trees to the right hand side of that drawing, is because just to the right of this, so where you see the box and there's a couple trees, just to the right hand side of that is a large storm sewer. So we need to be cautious about what we're doing. So the site was actually quite restricted on what we could do. I do like the idea Darren's commented of a pergola. That's something we could probably build in-house and do in the short term. Unless funding becomes available from potentially a service club or something like that to do a true shade sale or something.
Yes, no, I understand the site's highly constrained, and now that you mentioned the storm sewer, yeah. No, it's more like just a nice to have if there's funding or if there's thoughts, just especially with climate change and that, just thinking of how people will use the space in the summer. But yeah, no, definitely appreciate that. It's a challenging site.
Anything further, Jerica? No? Anyone else have a
Yeah,
comment? Go
was gonna-
ahead.
I was gonna
Go
ask,
ahead.
is the base sand or stone or wood chips?
The base of the playground is EWF, the engineered wood fiber. So yeah,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on to the Yorkview Community Park washroom. Go ahead.
You muted yourself, Darren.
Sorry about that. So this is our Yorkview Community Park. This is a centralized building in between the baseball diamonds, baseball storage building, interior washrooms. You'll see portable washrooms there in this photo because from the time the photo was taken, the washrooms were out of order. So with our need for creating accessibility in this space, we've tried to come up with a plan to provide exterior access to the facility, to the washrooms, instead of interior access. So the interior access is challenging because it's only open typically when baseball is on. We're looking to move this to open to the community at any point in time so that it's open and accessible for everybody that's using the park. So, if you scroll down, basically this is an existing building. Interior has 2 washrooms now. Neither of them have any accessibility options to them. Very, very restricted. Obviously, an old building that we're just looking to upgrade. So this will be in for our 2026 capital project.
Any questions on this one? No questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Strathroy Scout House.
Yeah, so there's no attachments to this one. Obviously, this is a project that just kind of came to light over the last little while. Again, another older building that has some accessibility restrictions to it. So right now we're just looking at creating a ramp into the space and replacing a new set of front doors. We just recently installed remote access, key fob access to the facility, so we can have some door controls installed and automatic door openers installed in this space. So these projects are just going to come out of our operating budget this year and to get started on this project.
Good, thank you. I think with the amount of stuff you have going on, perhaps if we have another meeting later on in the summer, we can maybe schedule it to have it out in your part of the area and tour these facilities so we get a firsthand look at them, if that's okay with you gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Good, good. If there are no further questions, I would ask for a mover and a seconder to approve these projects that are going on. Have a mover. Jerica, thank you. Seconder. Leslie, thank you. All in favor? So moved. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
for having us.
We'll move on to the Middlesex County Primary Operations Center, the accessible parking space, and Ryan's here to give us an update on that.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one. We had our front offices reconstructed in 2020, 2021, completely accessible. And then we put in a little bit of parking for staff out front, but accessible parking was never taken into consideration at that time. So it was time for us to upgrade to an accessible parking spot. So we just modified what was there. Changed 2 spots into 1 accessible. The sidewalk that's adjacent to that accessible parking is all ground level. It's all flush. There's no barrier there. So it's also easy access to the building.
Questions for Ryan? Jerica, go ahead.
Hi, Ryan. What is the width of the sidewalk on both sides there? In meters.
I believe it's 1.8.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Anything further? All right, could I have a motion to approve this? Jerica, seconded by Michelle. All in favor? Thank you. Next, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that. Next, we have Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility Desk Audit Accessibility for Ontario's with the Disability Act. And Rebecca's going to give us a verbal update on this.
So this will just be pretty quick, but through the chair to the committee, the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility selected the County of Middlesex for a desk audit under the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. And their desk audits are part of the ministry's routine compliance monitoring and involve the review of submitted documentation to confirm adherence to AODA requirements. So the county submitted the required documentation to the ministry on Friday, May 2nd, 2025, in accordance with their deadline. The next steps in this process will include a senior compliance analyst reviewing the submission, and Middlesex County staff will provide the Middlesex Accessibility Advisory Committee with an update on the desk audit once the ministry has responded with results or recommendations.
Any questions for Rebecca? Seeing none, we'll ask for a mover and a seconder for that report. Jerica? Leslie, all in favor? So moved. I don't believe we have any correspondence or information items at this time. Are there any inquiries from anyone? Not seeing any. I get my page to turn, I'll be laughing. Any new business? Seeing new business, just before we adjourn, we will attempt to have a meeting later on this summer and get out to Strathroy Caradoc so everybody can have a firsthand look at what they're doing out there. I think that'd be a good thing to do. So seeing no more business or any new business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Jerica, and seconded by Leslie. All in favor? Thank you, everyone, for your time.